welcome back to the campaign. You joined me 2 weeks since I last wet a line here, and a lot has happened once again, and one of the things that hasn't happened is stable weather. The weather last week was once again absolutely ridiculous. We had one day where I think all four seasons decided to show up. It was just, we had snow that actually stayed on the ground for a good portion of the day. We had Baltic winds, we had a thunderstorm, hail, rain, you name it. And I mean, what is that doing to the fish? You have to wonder, right? Like, they must be like, okay, what time of year is it, right? Like, I can only imagine what that's doing to the fish. And it's no wonder that, the consistency has been like non-existent as of yet. I am seeing friends catching across Ontario, and they're sending me their catch reports, friends in Quebec as well. So I do know that they're turning on in certain areas, and I know that it's not a matter of if they're going to turn on here, it's just a matter of when, right? Obviously, these are the trials and the hardships, and I went into details about that in the last episode, talking about how you only know so much. You think you know, but you really don't know until the results start to come in and you can start to piece and puzzle it together. So I've changed up my strategy a little bit. I'm still running the same rig because I don't want to change too many variables. But a variable I have changed is the type of bait I'm actually putting out as free offerings. So the last two sessions that I've spent here, I pre-baited with crack corn. And when I was here last time and I saw the fall fish feeding on it, and obviously I'd seen the red horse crashing out in the first episode, I was fully aware at that point that obviously non-target species could very well be eating all the corn on me, and I knew there were some waterfowl around as well that could be coming down and bobbing onto the bait as well. So I realized I needed to change what I was putting out as free offerings, so I have added in some homemade boilies. I made up a batch of banana cream boilies that, I've chopped up and also left as wholes so that I could offer some larger food items that I don't think the red horse or the fall fish could pick up. And therefore, I've kind of limited the quarry, what could actually pick up those free offerings. I've also baited out a little bit further out. In previous, sessions, I've been baiting in nice and close. So there's a deep little pocket right here close to me at the mouth of this creek, and it kind of rises up onto a sandbar and then drops back down again. And I figured that maybe the fish hadn't thought to come over the sandbar in search of food yet, and they could be into the deeper hole that's out closer to the obviously much deeper hole at the river. So I've now been putting out some spawns out there. Once again, same mix with the half and whole boilies, with the crack corn and also chickpeas. And I've been putting out a couple of spawns in here each day, not putting out a lot of bait, 1-2 pounds max, just enough to try to give them a little something to come in and munch on, and maybe increase their confidence into coming back here, looking at this as an optimal feeding area. I know that I have been seeing the weeds starting to grow in the shallows as well on either side of the creek mouth here, and we did have quite a rain yesterday, so I'm wondering if maybe some naturals could have been picked up and pushed down out towards the river in this bay here. It's anybody's gamble, right? I'm not going to know until that line alarm sounds whether or not there's any fish near me today. But so I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic. Once again, every day you're out here, it's a chance. So let's hope. I don't know how you cautiously cross your fingers, but cautiously cross fingers, maybe it'll happen today. Well, still no signs of life out there yet, and any indication I've had on my alarm hasn't been overly definitive. It's minimal at best, a couple of beeps here and there, and I think that's more likely just debris drifting over the line. There's a bit of a back eddy, so every so often things come back around that have pushed out of the creek, and they catch the line, and I have to dip it down or lift it up to try to break the break the obstruction free. But I have had a few of my friends send me in their catch reports today because they are out on such a stunning day like today. And my good friend Dan in Peterborough has crushed his PB today. And big ups to him. I know he's been working really hard trying to get his season started as well. And he had a 29-pounder today. What a reward. What a quality fish. And I'm hoping that maybe I could have similar success today. But it always actually gives me such a buzz to hear friends of mine catching too. So fingers crossed. Still got lots of time yet. And all it may take is an hour of sunshine. So let's hope that shows up. Well, as you can see, the sun has finally decided to show up, and with it has come some very, very big changes. Namely, if you can look down in the water here in front of me, pushing out from the creek are all these little blooms of algae and silt, and coming out of those are hatchings. It looks like water beetles, that are just breaking through them every so often and scattering away. And down in the rocks in front of me, there's got 1,000 little minnows. I didn't see them at all when I first showed up here and when it was cloudy overhead. So if, this is what it takes to wake them up, a little bit of sunshine, I still have a couple of hours yet. And it looks like that sun is going to be hanging around for a little bit. So hopefully that's what it takes. And maybe, just maybe, one will grace me very shortly. Cautiously crossing my fingers. Well, it would seem once again that the fish have taken another round. But I have made some interesting observations about this particular spot. And once again, I'm basing everything that I'm doing off of what I have done in the past. And it's a new swim. And I have to keep that in mind, and we have to keep that in mind as anglers, that it's just because something works in one place, it doesn't mean it's going to work in others. And although this place does check off all the boxes for an optimal carp fishing location for springtime, this has been an unprecedented spring. It's anybody's gamble as to where we really are. What I did note today, though, was that when that sun came out, finally, after many hours of overcast conditions, this creek, which was devoid of life, began to wake up again. I started seeing the minnows swimming around, the crayfish. I started to see hatchings occur. And that really did come to a climax when a decent-sized pike actually pushed into the mouth here, about 2 foot long or better. It's that first big fish that I've seen, and I do know that oftentimes pike are just ahead of the carp when it comes to moving in to the shallows. So had this sun maybe come up earlier, who knows? All I know is I know nothing until I catch. I'm still in this fight. I'm still going to stick it out here, and hopefully we can get out of this blanket spell soon. But until then, sightlines.